Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the third episode of our podcast that we are now calling Just the Zoo of Us.
I love it. I want to credit Christian with coming up with the idea. He did a really good job because I know he loves puns a whole lot.
A whole lot.
So I'm really glad that we could incorporate your love of puns into the title of the podcast in some way.
Yes, I'm very proud of it.
And I think it comes across really well. This is the third episode. It's been a few weeks since we recorded the last episode. Not that any of you would know that because we haven't actually uploaded any of them yet. But it's been a couple weeks, so we're hoping to get back in the saddle today.
Yeah.
And since Christian went first last time, I'll go first this time.
All right.
So today, I'm going to be talking about the praying mantis. There are very many types of mantises, so to be particular, I'm talking about the European mantis. The scientific name is Mantis religiosa. I decided to pick this species of praying mantis because it's the most common. This is typically the one that you're going to see, and it's probably the one you're thinking of right now. It's the green one it's pretty basic, like, starter praying mantis.
Sure, so this is the kind we would probably find in our backyards.
Yes.
Okay.
So, have you ever found one here in the wild?
You know, I haven't, but I have found their eggs, but I won't go too far into that because I know that's an interesting thing about them.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't have anything about their eggs in particular, so maybe you can... Oh, it's okay. We'll get to their mating habits later, but you can share your egg story. But, so, yeah, this is the one that you would find here. They're typically 2 to 3 inches long. They're not that big. They're pretty small. Actually, I thought they were bigger than they are, because I've never seen one in, like, the wild or anything like that. So I thought they were much bigger, having only seen photos of them. But they are only a couple inches big. They are originally from Europe, hence the name European mantis. But they have spread all over the world. So you can find them anywhere.
Oh.
Anywhere. Except, I'm sure, like Antarctica or something.
Well, sure.
But you would find them here in Florida. You would find them all over America, Asia, Africa, Europe, everywhere you can find them. Their sort of adaptability to different environments has turned them into an invasive species in many parts of the world. And I'll touch on that a little bit later. So the Mantis religiosa, the praying mantis, they're in the taxonomic order of Mantidae. There are over 2,400 species of mantises. So there are so many of them. It was kind of difficult for me to decide which one I wanted to narrow it down to talk about, because they're all very different. But all of them have what you're thinking of as the iconic triangle-shaped head with the 2 compound eyes, the one compound eye on either side, and they have those raptor arms.
Oh, yes.
Which I don't think is the technical term, but it's how I describe them. They have raptor arms. So they're arms that are folded up. That's how they got their name, the praying mantis, that their arms are folded up like they're sort of praying. So other than the other over 2,000 species of mantises, the closest relatives to mantids in general are termites and cockroaches. So these are all part of the Dictyoptera superorder.
Okay.
Kind of icky, but like you wouldn't think that by looking at them, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I have on their relatives and stuff. Just so your intro to the praying mantis.
So far, so good.
Yeah. For effectiveness, I gave them an 8 out of 10 because they're good at what they do. They have those 2 compound eyes that I mentioned. Those 2 compound eyes take up most of their head. But if you look really closely, you can see that they have 3 other eyes.
What?
Yeah, these are called ocelli. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled Ocelli, ocelli. These are simple eyes in between the 2 compound eyes. So I, going into this, didn't really know very much about how compound eyes work. I figured this being the first insect I've talked about, I would kind of learn a little bit more about the compound eyes. The compound eyes are what you're looking at when you're probably looking at the praying mantis's eyes. Those 2 giant eyes on the side of the head. Mm-hmm. The 3 little ocelli in between are simple eyes, so they're more like our eyes. Just the single lens. So that works a little bit more like ours. So I didn't really know how compound eyes work and how they differed from simple eyes. So I found this information from Bert Margraf at sciencing.com, who explains them this way. He says, the insect compound eye is like having lots of little eyes looking in different directions, but each little eye doesn't see very well. So the human eye can swivel, but it only looks in one direction at any given moment. The quality of its vision is much higher than that of a compound eye, and it has a more complex construction. So you would probably assume that since a compound eye is made up of a ton of lenses and a ton of eyes, you would probably reasonably assume that it sees better. It does not. It doesn't. So the two compound eyes are for detecting movement and for the depth perception. They can't really differentiate details. It's not a high resolution image that they're seeing. But the benefit of it is that they're convex, so that they have such an incredibly wide range of vision. So they can see all around them, and they're very good at detecting movement. So the three simple eyes on top of the head are really more for detecting light. So they really don't have very good detailed perception, but they do have very, very good motion perception. So their ability to detect motion pairs really well with their reflexes. And their reflexes are extremely fast. They're so fast that they're difficult to perceive with the human eye. So when you're watching a praying mantis hunt and catch its prey, you probably won't see that movement because it's so fast. They are also really good at jumping and aiming their jumps. And it wasn't really known how good they were at this until Malcolm Burrows, an entomologist at the University of Cambridge, and his team took super slow motion videos of young mantises jumping from where they were sitting onto a stick-shaped thing. And took these super, super slow motion videos and then studied how they got from one place to another. Because remember, they can't see very well.
Right.
How did they know where to land, and how did they land there so accurately? So what they determined was that young mantises aim their jumps by twisting and rotating their body in three sections. So the three sections being their abdomen, their front legs, and their hind legs. So each of those three sections switches between turning clockwise and anti-clockwise. So throughout the jump, they're twisting each section of their body in opposing directions. Throughout the jump, they're switching back and forth, they're switching directions, and that keeps the central trunk of the body of the mantis stable and in line with the target.
Oh.
So you don't see this when you're watching it just with your eyes, but when you slow it down, you can see what they're doing. They're very rapidly twisting their body so that they land in the spot they need to get. That's really cool. I didn't know they could do that. So another thing I gave them points for effectiveness was their camouflage. So these are ambush predators. They don't chase their prey. They blend in. They blend in with the foliage and the leaves. They wait for something that they judge that they can catch to move within striking range, and then they sort of do that thing where they reach out and grab it and pull it in, because their forearms are covered in these little spikes that trap their prey. So they use this ambush strategy to surprise and take down their prey, and they can take down prey much larger than themselves, including birds.
Whoa.
Yeah, they can take down hummingbirds. I'll touch on that a little bit later. It's become a problem. So in this Newsweek article that I found, Dietrich Mebs, a retired forensic ecologist at the University of Frankfurt, explained that the mantis's strength lies in its ability to surprise the birds and to not let go once it has latched on. They just hold their prey and eat them while they're still alive, slowly and slowly until there's nothing left. It's really impressive. So they don't actually kill their prey, they just catch it and eat it.
I mean, at some point they die.
At some point, sure, they're gonna die, but they don't actually have any sort of like kill tactics. They just catch it and eat it. So
how horrifying.
Yeah, that will play into ingenuity score later on, but for right now, I want to talk about because I did give them an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10, and I deducted a couple of points for their extremely poor sound detection. So, Joe Ballinger at askanentomologist.com explains that mantids have only one ear, and it's in a really weird place. It is located in the middle of their middle and hind legs. So their ear is split in half, but both halves function as a single unit. There's a single neuron which connects them, and it fires if either half hears anything. So, functionally, only one ear.
That positioning, would you describe it as its butt?
I think it's, like, more towards the front of the animal.
Okay.
I didn't really see an illustration of where it is, but I mean, a butt ear is pretty great.
that's kind of where I was headed with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if a mantid has a butt, do they even have a butt?
I mean, I'm sure they have some sort of waste excretion.
I don't know. I didn't look into their excretory system closely.
We're gonna need a new category
for butt efficiency. Anyway, so they have this one ear. Their hearing is really, really narrow. They can't hear very much. Their hearing is best between 30 and 60 kilohertz with an upper range of up to 150 kilohertz. But the sounds that they themselves produce are only around 8 kilohertz, so they can't even hear each other. They can't hear their own noises they make.
See, this explains their marital problems. They can't listen.
I'll get into their marital problems. So they actually communicate with each other using pheromones. So they don't really need to communicate with each other with sound. It seems kind of silly that they would produce sounds that they can't even hear. For reference, human hearing maxes out around 20 kilohertz, so they can't hear our voices at all. It's way too low pitched. Huh. So they can only hear like very, very high pitched sounds. So I tried to kind of dig around to see why it is they even hear at all. Because they're bad at it. So like, why even bother having something that can hear? And it seems that the sole purpose of their hearing is kind of for the purpose of detecting bats, because bats are kind of their biggest predator.
Oh, I thought
biggest threat.
I thought you were about to tell me these things try to take down bats. I was like,
no, it's more for avoiding bats because bats are kind of their biggest threat.
Okay, so it's the echolocation they're listening for, I guess.
Yes,
okay.
But a lot of bats echolocate at frequencies outside of that range.
Well,
so mantids can't hear them anyway.
Well then.
That's not all bats. They can hear a lot of bats, but there are also a lot of bats that they cannot hear anyway.
I wonder if that's because of how they spread. Maybe from wherever they're originally from, the bats had echolocation within that frequency, but then
sure.
It just didn't adapt as they spread. Yeah,
so it seems that this sort of hearing ability of theirs is one of those things. It's like they have it, but they're not particularly good at it. Evolution works that way sometimes. You know, you could be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. So they're not particularly masters of hearing. They can do it, but very poorly. Okay. So that's why I took at least a couple of points off of their effectiveness. So moving on to ingenuity. They're a bug. They're not real bright. True. I gave them a 4 out of 10 for ingenuity. So I did give them some points for some cool things that they do. They display dymatic behavior. This is bluffing behavior. So it's meant to startle predators. This is not a hunting technique. This is a self-defense technique. It's a bluff. So they have these eye spots on the insides of their front legs. That when they're threatened, they reveal these eye spots and spread their wings. Mm-hmm. So it makes them look much bigger than they really are. The eye spots make them look really intimidating. It's really meant to startle a predator for long enough for them to get away. Okay. It's not... They're not so great at fighting. They're a bug, right? Like, what are they going to do? So they're not so great at defending themselves, but they do have this bluffing behavior that at least gives them an escape opportunity. They also do something interesting called peering. They have a peering behavior. This is what they do is they sort of rock back and forth. They will move forwards and backwards over and over again while they're walking around. So what this is letting them do is this lets them judge the distance of an object by observing how much it appears to move based on their perspective. This is called motion parallax. This is a concept called motion parallax. You can understand how this works by imagining that there's a tree 5 feet in front of you and a building 100 feet in front of you. So if you back up another 5 feet, the size of the tree in your vision will change a lot, right? You're now 10 feet away instead of 5 feet away. That tree is going to look a lot smaller. But the building that's 100 feet away, it's going to be about the same size. The size of the building isn't going to change very much to you. So that's kind of how motion parallax works, is that you can judge how far something away is by how much it changes in your perspective when you move around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes me think of, when you're driving a car, you can tell the distance between you and another car is changing quickly based on the size of that car and your field of vision. Yeah. That's how I think of it, at least.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat that they do that. That they're actually pretty, they kind of make up for their not so great vision by like doing that behavior that lets them judge distances a little better. But it serves another purpose of contributing to their camouflage, because that rocking back and forth can mimic the motion of a leaf or a twig, like swaying in the breeze. And they're meant to look like a leaf. So it kind of helps them by mimicking the movement of their foliage that they're trying to blend with. So those are kind of the things that I thought were pretty neat about what they do. I did take a bunch of points off for their cannibalism. This is the dumbest thing. So I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, to think maybe there's some sort of function that their cannibalism serves. Pretty famously, the female praying mantises eat the males after they mate.
Right.
They will get it on, mate, and then the female immediately eats the male. The benefits of this to the female are that she gets a free meal, and it's a pretty good meal, and that's really it. She just gets a free meal.
I mean, I think we can all agree how great a post-coitus snack can be.
That's basically what it is. So I was thinking maybe there's some sort of benefit to this, and it's been sort of posited that the males are acting selflessly by allowing the female to eat them so that she gets a good meal, in the hopes that, like, she'll be stronger and able, I don't know. So that was sort of studied by these two scientists, by Cesar Gimeno and Jordi Claremont, who showed that males approached females over 6 times faster if the female was busy or distracted feeding on prey. So they studied this by having these female praying mantises, and some of the females they would do nothing to, and some of the females they would give them something, like give them a piece of prey, or give them something some of them had a piece of prey that they were busy eating, and some of them they waited until the females were kind of grooming themselves, so they were busy with that. And then when the female was busy, they would introduce the males. Well, they would also introduce the males to the ones that weren't busy. So they studied to see whether the males just kind of went for it, and the ones that were presented to the females that were not busy approached much more slowly and seemed to be actively avoiding getting eaten. Because if the female was busy and she's already got something she's eating, he has a much better chance of getting away without getting eaten. So they were much more eager to approach the females that were busy and less likely to kill and eat them.
So they're at least aware of the danger.
They're aware that it's not good. They don't want to get eaten. So I found this line from Wikipedia very, very funny. It says, on first glance, this behavior does not seem to be very beneficial for the male since he dies. Not beneficial to you because you are dead. So that I found that very funny. They also won't hesitate to eat each other even outside of a sexual context. They will just go for it. So even in captivity, they have to be kept in isolation away from each other because they will eat each other. No questions asked. So yeah, they just kind of indiscriminately eat each other for seemingly no reason, right? Because the male does not want to be eaten.
True.
The female eats him anyway.
I guess if a meal presents itself.
Yeah, so I did kind of factor that in. So they only strike at what they can see moving. So they're just kind of indiscriminately eating whatever crosses into their field of view.
What if they have a bad memory and they finish up mating and they forget what just happened? Like, oh, hey, something's moving. Time to eat that.
Yeah, it could be that they just don't process it as like, oh, this is one of me. Like, right. Oh, I have to not kill this thing because it's another one of my species and I want my species to live on. It's not a very altruistic species. They will not hesitate to kill and eat each other. So they don't discriminate between their targets, and they'll strike at and attempt to eat pretty much anything.
Okay.
So that's why I took a whole bunch out for their ingenuity, because there's not really a whole lot going on in that little praying mantis noggin. So the only category left is aesthetics. I gave them a 7 out of 10 because they're pretty.
All right.
They have a very elegant, I think they have a very alien-like beauty. They look very kind of ethereal because of their slender limbs and really interesting angles. It's a very angular appearance. I think they look really beautiful, but they are, once you see them compared to the other types of mantises, they're pretty plain looking. Because this is specifically the European praying mantis. They're just plain green, bare bones sort of. Mm-hmm. If you really want to find some beautiful mantises, I did some poking around and I found my favorite ones, which are the orchid mantis. This is the flowery, the very white and flowery one that's meant to look like orchid petals. There's also the devil's flower mantis and the spiny flower mantis. Ooh. So these are some really, really beautiful mantises that have evolved to look more like flowers. So overall, between the 8 out of 10 for effectiveness, the 4 out of 10 for ingenuity, and the 7 out of 10 for aesthetics, overall I gave them a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Just decent. It's okay. They're all right. They're no alligator. They're fine. So, last kind of wrapping up fun facts about the praying mantis. Their conservation status is of least concern. There's no worry about the mantis. They're doing great. They have in the past been released in the United States as pest control. So they're sort of set loose in parts of the United States to eat other insects.
Anything in particular?
I don't think. It's just they eat other bugs. So they were kind of let loose to do that. The drawback to that is that they don't care what they eat. And they don't differentiate between good and bad.
Sure.
They will eat anything they can catch. Particularly bad thing is that Chinese mantises, so these are not European praying mantises, but Chinese mantises are really badly threatening the ruby-throated hummingbird. Oh. Ruby-throated hummingbirds are very frequently caught and eaten by Chinese mantises.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's kind of become a problem. The praying mantis is the state insect of Connecticut.
Huh. Okay.
Despite the fact that it is an introduced species.
Oh, well.
It is not from there, but I guess they really like them. They're pretty. They're neat looking.
Sure.
Maybe the folks in Connecticut are really into martial arts and kung fu, right?
I guess.
Maybe that's just something they're really into. I don't know, but they just really like the praying mantis enough to make their state insect. And praying mantises are popular pets. They're actually so much of the information that I found was from people who keep these as pets.
And like you mentioned earlier, are they typically individual pets? So
yes, just the one. Just the one, unless you're trying to set up some sort of praying mantis fight club. Oh. You know what? Now that I think of it, that probably is a thing. People probably do. You know how they do those Japanese sort of insect fighting things with beetles and. They probably do some degree of praying mantis fighting. I don't know if that's legal.
I mean...
Is it?
Who knows?
I don't know. They're of least concern.
So that kind of brought a thought. So when we talk about conservation status, I wonder if there's ever something beyond the least concern. Maybe there's
too many of them. Yeah, there's too many, please.
Do something.
Please start killing these.
Oh no.
They suck. Please. I mean, they're other than, taking down hummingbirds and just kind of being out of control killing machines, they're not super problematic. I wonder
if they go after bees.
I don't know.
Thoughts?
Yeah. So these are pretty tough beasts. They're pretty cool. They're not real bright, but I have a feeling most insects and I don't think a mantis is an insect, but most bugs are probably going to score pretty low on ingenuity. Maybe. So that's pretty par for the course.
So earlier I mentioned their eggs.
Yes. Oh yeah, tell me about your mantis eggs.
So mantis eggs, I don't know if it's all of them, but some of them at least, what their eggs look like to me, personally, is if someone spat on the ground.
Oh, it's like bubbly looking.
Yes.
Gross. Yuck.
So luckily, I was not curious enough to take them with me. Because I have read stories where young children have found a lot of these and put them in a shoebox and brought them in the house.
Gross.
So then you'll have thousands of tiny little praying mantises running around.
Please don't.
And it turns out baby praying mantises love to eat other baby praying mantises.
Yeah. Any praying mantis will just eat any other praying mantis. They don't care.
So in that particular situation, though, that is the most available food source. So
you know what? I call that a self-solving problem.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you got a praying mantis problem?
You'll have one very full praying mantis left.
Oh, no, because then you've weeded them out. Now you're left with one ultimate champion praying mantis. You're left with the most powerful one.
Let's contact the Sharknado people.
Yeah, that's natural selection occurring, I suppose. Maybe that's why they eat each other, because they're trying to naturally select each other to only make sure only the strongest ones
I bet
survive.
we're just overthinking it, and they're just like, yum, food.
Yeah, now that I think of it, they probably don't have like an awesome comprehension of how evolution works. Sure. They're probably not thinking long term like that.
Yeah. My turn?
Yeah, let's
All right.
have at it. Let me hear it.
So, my animal for this episode is the giant panda.
Love it. Excellent. I'm so excited.
A very popular animal, seen in lots of media. I think if you were to ask most people, they would say they understand what a panda is.
Yes. I've got it. I'm picturing it in my head. Got it. Panda. Big, fluffy boy.
I'm going to try to pronounce its scientific name.
Okay.
Eleuropoda.
Okay.
Melanoleuca.
Oh.
That's probably not correct.
All right.
But
you did your best.
I tried.
It's okay.
So,
please don't contact us about the pronunciation of any of these words.
Yep.
We will not listen.
I haven't taken a day of Latin, so.
I have.
Oh.
But I don't know what any of those words mean.
No worries. So some basic stats for our panda friends. Adult size and length terms, they range from 1.2 to 1.9 meters.
That means nothing to me.
4 to 6 feet.
Thank you.
Height from the shoulder, so when they're on all fours, so from the ground to their shoulder, 60 to 90 centimeters or 2 to 3 feet. And their average weight is 100 to 115 kilograms or 220 to 254 pounds.
That is not as big as I thought.
They're not, yeah.
They're not as big as I thought they were. I guess especially when you said like 2 to 3 feet tall at the shoulder, that is pretty little.
Yeah. I mean, if they're on their hind legs, though, they could be about as tall as a person.
Sure.
Huh. And that's about as an adult human male would weigh. And let's talk about where they're found. So obviously China.
Got it.
I think lots of people already know that.
Nailed it.
Specifically, they're found in mountain ranges in central China. Mainly in Sichuan, but also in Shanxi and Gansu.
Okay.
So if you were to look at a map, this is a relatively small portion of China that they're found in. Mm-hmm. Taxonomic order is the Carnivora. So notable relatives within that order are other bears.
Okay, that makes sense.
So while they are a bear, they're pretty different from their other cousins, and I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
First up, effectiveness.
All right, let's hear it. Big money.
I give them a 4
Yikes.
out of 10.
Okay.
Let's talk about their diet, shall we? So they are equipped to be a carnivore. They have the digestive system of a carnivore. They have the teeth for a carnivore. However, they do still have some teeth in there to chew fibrous plants. That's
okay, so they're an omnivore. They're an omnivorous bear.
Sure. But in practice, they are typically a folivore, which means they primarily eat leaves and branches.
All right, sure.
A lot like the okapi from
our
previous
buddies.
episode. But again, the panda bear has a digestive system meant for a carnivore.
Oh.
So they are not particularly good at digesting leaves and branches.
I like that evolution set them up to be a carnivore, and they were like, the thing is, that's hard, and I don't want to.
So the only reason they can get anything out of like that kind of plant material is because of a special gut bacteria. And the way they get that gut bacteria is by eating the feces of their mother.
Oh my god, stop it.
So that makes you wonder, where did it start, right?
Hilarious. Oh my gosh, gross.
So very odd. So obviously, I mean, a lot of people would know that they primarily eat bamboo. Mm-hmm. So that special gut bacteria is what allows them to get any kind of nutrition out of it, and even then they have to eat a lot of it.
Their entire body has evolved to adapt to their own laziness. They could not be bothered to hunt like an actual bear, so their body was like, all right, I don't know, let's develop some gut bacteria. So
in captivity though, they will eat fruits and other kinds of vegetables and even some meat snacks, but that's in captivity. And that's just a way to make sure their nutrition is where it needs to be. So speaking of laziness, let's talk about their reproduction.
Oh, no.
So right off the bat, I want to say that there's a big difference between their reproduction in the wild and in captivity.
Oh, okay.
So the problem with their reproduction in captivity is they tend to lose all interest.
Not feeling it. Got better things to do.
And scientists have tried all sorts of things to try and get around that, ranging from showing them videos of other pandas mating.
No.
And giving them a drug that is equivalent to Viagra.
Oh my god.
Right.
I gotta know more about this panda porn.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
The zoologist turning in their reports like, we tried showing them porn. I don't know what.
We're all out of ideas.
Did you try porn?
So in terms of what their normal reproduction is like in the wild, though, they do about one young every 2 years, which is actually very similar to the North American black bear.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, one would consider that species is thriving, right? It's not particularly in danger of not reproducing enough. I mean, it has its own problems in terms of environment and what have you. But in the wild, I mean, their rate of reproduction is average.
Sure.
So, but here's the problem. It's a little tricky. So females, they go into heat only once a year. And it's only for 2 or 3 days.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, that's not... Okay.
So typically, panda bears are not, social animals. They're typically by themselves.
Right.
So there's a window, right, where a female and a male panda...
A 2 to 3 day window. Jeez.
Right.
You really got a boogie.
Yep. And then once they're done mating, they're done. Like they will separate, and then when a young is born, it's raised by its mother until it's old enough to leave, and then once again on their own. Yep.
There's a very good the Disney nature documentary.
Yes.
Is it called Born in China? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember. This is the
Jim
one
from The Office narrates it. Yeah, we went and saw it. It's really good.
I hadn't seen The Office when I saw that.
Yeah,
so I need to go back
true.
and watch it now.
You would appreciate it way more now.
So yeah, at the time it was just a name. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I think you'd be very into it now these days.
So that's effectiveness 4 out of 10. Not great.
No, that's not good.
Ingenuity. I'll give them some points here.
Okay.
I'll give them a 6 out of 10.
Sure.
So first of all, because they primarily eat bamboo, they have to have at least 2 species of bamboo in their environment so that they don't starve. And that's because, bamboo sprouts only part of the year. So they need one species that sprouts one part of the year and another species that sprouts the other part of the year. So that they have food to eat.
Sure.
So they know to travel during the seasons to find this bamboo.
Yeah.
So they can't stay put, otherwise they will starve.
Oh, no.
So that's an interesting little tidbit. But also, they've developed a thumb.
Oh my gosh.
Specifically, it's thought to hold shoots of bamboo while they're eating them.
Their body has really just, accepted their choices.
It's kind of like, I'm going to throw you a bone. You can hold it real good. You're not going to digest it very good, though.
They're like, the panda body is like, you seem to be hell-bent on this whole bamboo thing, so we're going to do our best.
And it has developed what I would call survival laziness. So because of because of their diet, they're not getting a particularly large amount of nutrition from it. So they are very adverse to expending energy when they don't have to.
Same. Relatable.
So even so much so, like, they won't go up steep inclines. Which I guess that makes sense. You do what you have to do with what you've got. So, 6 out of 10 ingenuity.
Hearing all of these ways in which the panda has sort of forced itself to adapt to its own inefficient, extremely lazy lifestyle is very relatable to me. It's like, I don't feel like it. I'm going to change everything about my entire life to make sure that I can only exert as little effort as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're making it work, right?
So we get to our final category, aesthetics. So this one, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Obviously,
so
yes.
Panda bears, very cute. They look very cuddly.
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend going up and trying to hug one.
It's not going to stop me, but I have noted your opinion.
They've known to cause harm and frustration. So, like, from being annoyed by a human. Oh. Like, they won't try to specifically hunt down a person or what have you, but if they feel particularly annoyed, they will maybe bite or bite.
Just a little chomp with those leftover carnivore teeth.
So very cute. They have that very distinct pattern in their fur, where their arms and legs are black.
Love it.
The body is white.
Love it.
Their ears are black, I believe, and also very their eyes.
Very fluffy.
Yep, very distinct.
And the markings around the eyes make the eyes look big and sad. Yeah. But in a really kind of pouty and cute way.
And they got the big chubby cheeks, too.
The chubby cheeks, it really drives it home. It's really, they have the looks department on lock.
Yep.
Which I wonder if, like, their whole evolutionary goal was that if we look cute enough, the humans will take care of us. And they will do everything in their power to keep us alive, no matter how bad we are at it.
Yeah, so they have kind of become the poster child for animal conservation, right?
Right.
And there's a reason for that. But before we get there, let's talk about their overall score. So for the folks at home keeping score, this averages out to a 6.3 out of 10.
It's a little better than a praying mantis, honestly. Probably that aesthetic score that bumped him up.
Yeah, for sure. That threw off that average a good bit.
It's really their likability rating.
So, speaking of which, I'm going to jump into my fun facts on pandas.
Okay.
Conservation status, they are listed as vulnerable. So their biggest thing is loss of habitat.
Right.
So that's, the general reduction of their habitat, but also where their habitat is separated from each other. So imagine a range of habitat for a particular panda, and then something is built through the middle of it. So now it can't get to the other part of it. So that's that goes back to what I was talking about, how they need to travel between the different parts of the year to get to where the food sources are.
Right.
So again, poster child for conservation status. Lots of campaigning and money has gone into the conservation of pandas.
Right, they're the mascot for the World Wildlife
Foundation.
Yes. Yeah,
yep.
They got them on their little logo.
Yep, true. Some would even consider them the kind of the poster child animal for China in general. So within China, they consider that animal to be the dragon. But for international relations, lots of Chinese businesses have adopted the panda as their
It's a little more approachable, huh?
As their brand. Yeah.
It's a little more soft.
Yeah.
A little more likable. A little more, well, I don't know. Dragon's pretty likable. But it does make a statement. It's aggressive. Definitely. It's a little more assertive. A panda is a little more, we can be friends.
Yeah. So, with all that conservation, though, it's been argued that too much money has gone into the conservation of pandas. So people argue that there are different species that would be better off with that kind of money.
Sure. Different species who are trying way harder.
But the counter-argument is that, in the areas that they're conserving to help the pandas, they're also helping thousands of other species that are endemic to that part of China.
Right.
So it balances out, I think.
It's similar to the Okapi Preserve that is preserving the habitat of the okapi, but also, like, thousands of other species in that area. So, like, even though they might say, like, yes, this is specifically for this one species, it's also going to help the entire ecosystem in that area. It's not just... You cannot affect one species without affecting all of the other ones that rely on the ecosystem in their area.
Yep. So this is like birds, lizards, all sorts of stuff that live in this habitat. So another little fun thing about pandas, and I did not know this existed prior to doing this research, but it is what is referred to as panda politics.
Panda politics.
So for those that don't know, China, as a country, uses their pandas as political, I would say, tokens. So kind of the reason you don't see pandas in just any old zoo is because they're very regulated by China.
Okay.
So what they'll do is that they'll sign a contract with a country and then within specific zoos to say, hey, we'll give you X amount of pandas, but they are on loan.
Oh.
They are still our property. It's for this amount of time, and you have to give us this amount of money.
Oh.
And then if they have any children, those are also the property of China.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So they're very protective of their panda bears.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why you don't see them at any old zoo.
You know, I was just thinking to myself a second ago, I've been to a lot of zoos. It's a big, anytime I go to a new place, I try to go to their local zoo. I don't think I've ever seen a panda.
Yep.
In real life. I've never seen one.
I think there's one in San Diego.
There's one in the San Diego Zoo. The San Diego Zoo has they have a whole, like, panda cam set up. You can, they live stream the pandas. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know there's one in the San Diego Zoo. I think the Smithsonian Zoo maybe has pandas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't even know where to find a panda.
Yeah,
but I know I've never seen one.
So when I'm talking about, like, these loan programs, you know, we're talking about in terms of time, like years, like 10 years or something.
Right.
And then in terms of money, we're in the magnitudes of millions of dollars.
Sure. Rent a panda.
So this is kind of used as a relations medium between China and other countries. So there's a lot of back and forth sometimes, depending on what else is going on in the world with China.
Right.
So yeah, there's a whole thing there.
Interesting.
And my final fun fact. There is no known pre-20th century artistic representation of giant pandas. None.
In like
no paintings?
Western art? Eastern art?
Chinese.
Chinese art.
There's no Chinese art that was created before the 20th century that
they
has
just were
pandas.
Like, y'all know pandas, right? We don't need to... We don't need to draw this, right? Y'all know this one. You got this one covered.
Now, they've been referenced in written materials.
But they didn't bother to, draw one?
Yeah, or at least it hasn't been found yet, at least.
That's buck wild, because they drew stuff that didn't exist.
Well, and here's the thing. One of the most popular motifs in Chinese art is bamboo, right?
Right. How about the thing that lives off of bamboo?
Right, it's very strange.
They drew dragons and things that aren't real. But no pandas, nothing.
Yep. Yeah.
Insane. Huh.
So that's what I got for the giant panda.
Well, all right. I like our panda friend. They're really kind of doing their best, I guess. They're not really doing their best.
I mean...
But you know what?
Just keep at it.
Keep trying, Panda Bear. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well...
It's a good place to wrap up.
It sure is. So we thank you, everyone at home, for listening to Just the Zoo of Us.
Just the Zoo of Us.
So this is Christian Weatherford.
This is Ellen Weatherford. Oh my god, we forgot to introduce ourselves at the beginning
of the show.
Did. Whoops.
It's okay.
We're the Weatherfords. Sorry about that, but if you're listening to this, you probably know us anyway.
Oh yeah, totally. Shout out to my mom.
Hey, Mom!
Right.
I don't think my mom's going to listen to this.
Maybe, I don't know.
Mom, if you're listening, hi.
Well, so a big thank you to Louis Zong for the use of his song Adventuring from the album B-Sides.
Yeah, and also Taylor Gordon Wood is in the process of making some cover art for us. Woo. So once that's ready to go, we will incorporate that. And yeah, thank you to Taylor Gordon Wood for contributing the art. All right. That's all we've got.
That's a wrap. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.